We're going to take a quick look at Cosine, a site focused on embeddings and seeing the nearest neighbors of different texts. If you go to the site cosine.constraint.systems, there's a lightweight login. You can do Google or GitHub. So if you want to be able to add text yourself, you can go through that, and then you can type something in the text box. You can also add any additional notes. So the text is what gets embedded. The notes are displayed, but they're not used for similarity. And then you add those, and that takes you to a page for that text. And then it shows you below that the nearest neighbors. So you can see my other video text for this one, and see the neighbors are working. If you want to see some maybe more interesting examples of neighbors, the About page, I just linked to one of these texts. I tried writing a few About sections and then just left them in here. And so one of the interesting parts of having kind of the central organizing feature being similarity is that I have that text, and then sort of my other drafts naturally are kind of our nearest neighbors to that. And here you can see their ranking 1, 2, and also the similarity that was calculated, which can be kind of interesting when I've done. So you often use embeddings as part of a search system, and sometimes I've tried to visualize it, and it's interesting because something can be similar but only get to 0.813. The values, a lot of this is based on stuff I was doing with embeddings, but wanting to just, instead of making them work within another system as part of a system of search or something, which you should do, was just, I wanted to see what if we just kind of present them as transparently as possible. One quality I really like is that there's kind of an infinite scroll mechanic on here. Not actually infinite, because there's only a certain amount of text embedded. You can add more, and they'll all be added. But you can browse all the text on the site from any single text page, just kind of like a post. From any single text, you can see all the related texts, and you'll see them all in the order of similarity, or most similar to least similar. And I would say the least similar, as you get down here, isn't super informative, but conceptually I just like that. And then you can click through, so you can sort of, I don't know if it's like navigating social media exactly, or Wikipedia. You can click on things that interest you, but the central organizing mechanic is always going to be this similarity. So I have quite a few of computer creativity quotes in here, and those are definitely building up. And probably the most direct use of this would be as a sort of quote book. And already I kind of enjoy finding a new quote and then seeing what pops up nearest to it. And I guess another dynamic I really wanted to explore here was in a system where it's not so transparent, one of the big dilemmas is how you chunk things up into embeddings, what parts you embed. And so here again with the text field, it's just what gets embedded is the text. So as I'm doing quotes, I think it's more interesting not to include the person. I include it as a note. It looks like sort of a comment. And so that means the texts are relating to themselves rather than maybe the similarity being a result of embeddings of the author's names. It's all fuzzy because that all kind of gets mixed around, but I like it. I guess another piece, I think the piece that made me interested in making this site was this sort of idea of hashing a text and having content addressable hashes, which I'm not sure I'm doing a like strict, pure example of that. I think it is, but I just hash the text as they get added here, so that if you end up by coincidence, or I could like copy and paste it. Why don't I? If you end up putting in the exact same text, then it just gets added almost like a comment again to that text. And there's something I like about that. I tried not to put, so maybe that's serendipitous if you end up embedding the same thing as somebody else. Maybe if it was a more involved social network, then like that would be how you reply to things, is kind of copying and pasting that. It's just a interesting consequence of the system that's set up. And I think those are the main things that I wanted to look at here. Yeah, I guess there's pieces of this that look like a social network. And then I was always interested in something that like shares a lot of things, shares a lot of qualities with how stuff is set up, but has like a deviation that then has results. So I can almost imagine a social network that is this, and instead of like seeing posts based on being replies or as a factor of like algorithm that like likes bubble to the top, or if you pay to be verified on X, they go to the top. It's this text similarity. And you could game it. You could just do this, but one letter off, and that would get you the closest. So I'm not sure it'd be a good system or a scalable system, but I think it's fun to look at. That's most. You can click on users, and then you get reverse cron of the users. You can pin stuff as a user. I thought it would be kind of fun. You can just navigate through random ones. And obviously I did use reverse cron on sort of the front page for most recent as an exploration jumping off page, or on user pages. But there is, because you can see every text from the page of every other text, maybe a even more pure, interesting implementation of this would have been to like always just put you on a random text page, and that would be your experience of the network. Another similar quality I like from that is like you could save this link or bookmark it or whatever, and then come back to it, and then maybe you'd see the top spot like evolve over time. I guess it really makes me think, obviously stuff is like very algorithmic, which has a strong chronological component to it. Just like we could have systems with other algorithms, and it would at least be interesting to see. But I'd love if you play around, add some more text, whatever's on your mind, or use it for quotes, or use it for something else, and let me know what you're thinking about it. And that's it.